Hello and welcome to another episode of Sermon Supplementals with me, Pastor Tom. In each new episode, we will explore a biblical idea based on the previous Sunday's Gospel reading. I've been coming to you every day this last week as it was Holy Week. I have shared with you some great insights on the events of Holy Week according to the Gospel of Mark's timeline. Along with other pastoral duties I've not had the extra time to gather my thoughts about Easter, except for what you hear in the Easter worship. That is also available on this podcast. I invite you to download the service I led this morning and listen to my message. If you will humor me, please let me read a beautifully written essay on the meaning of Easter from Father Richard Rohr. I quoted him in my sermon this morning, and I wanted to have you hear his essay fuller. So without further ado, here is his brief essay for Easter Sunday 2019. The seeds of Easter are already found in Christmas. If God can become flesh, incarnating in the material world, then resurrection is a natural conclusion. Nothing divine can die. Easter isn't celebrating a one-time miracle, as if it only happened in the body of Jesus, and we're all here to cheer for Jesus. That's not really the point, but it is the message most Western Christians have been told. When Christianity split into East and West in 1054, both sides lost a piece of the puzzle. Looking at artwork can help us understand the two different theologies. John Dominic Crossan studied images of the resurrection and found that Western art often shows Jesus walking alone out of the tomb carrying a white flag, as if to say, "Look at me, I made it." Western theology declared Jesus rose from the dead as an individual, like 14th century painting by Italian Andrea de Buonarroti is an example. The Eastern Church saw the resurrection in at least three different ways: the trampling of hell, the corporate leading out of hell, and the corporate uplifting of humanity with Christ. In Eastern icons of the resurrection, sometimes it's called the harrowing of hell, Jesus is surrounded by many people as he stands astride the pit of hell. There are chains, bolts, locks flying in all directions. In many interpretations, Hades, the god of death, not to be confused with Satan, is bound at the bottom of the pit, while Jesus pulls Adam and Eve, symbols of all humanity, out of hell. This is a very different message that never made it to the Western Church, either Catholic or Protestant. Eastern imagery suggests a hopeful message that is not only about Jesus, but about society, humanity, and history itself. Brothers and sisters, if we don't believe that every crucifixion, war, poverty, torture, hunger can somehow be redeemed, who of us would not be angry, cynical, hopeless? No wonder Western culture seems so skeptical today. It all doesn't mean anything. It's not going anywhere because we weren't given a wider and cosmic vision of Jesus' resurrection. Easter is not just the final chapter of Jesus' life, but the final essay of history. Death does not have the final word. Christ is not just pulling Adam and Eve out of hell, he's pulling creation out of hell. Christ destroys death. We sing that in our songs and read it in our scriptures. But for many Christians, it seems to be pretend. For most of the past 2,000 years, the West tended to threaten us with death and hell. If you don't do it right, you're going to hell. Within many Eastern Orthodox churches, we see Jesus literally pulling people out of hell. Christ is the overcoming of hell and death in a very real and promised way. That's what we're celebrating today. You might consider joining an Orthodox service next Sunday, the day the Orthodox Church observes Easter, and experience their excitement. Human beings do not tend to get deeply excited about things unless we are somehow a part of it. Go in peace and serve the poor.